All you poetry peeps, filet mignon here with some more medium rare poetry. And today I have a confession to make that I have been abducted. Yes, for all you who are into UFOs or UAPs or any other three-letter acronym you'd like to give to our ET friends upstairs, I am going to share with you today my experience of which I've just returned. I had to wear this hat to hide the burn marks that I got from re-entry. Anyway, I hope you enjoy today's poem entitled Abducted. Abducted by Filet Mignon. My dreams were soft and peaceful as I snuggled in my bed, when all at once a mighty crash alarmed my sleepy head. A jagged hole was rent right through my pristine bedroom wall, and on my bed an alien, so weird and oh so small. In fact, there was a bunch of them meandering about, and when they saw I was awake, they all began to shout. Their language was illegible. I couldn't understand. It sounded like they'd just arrived from far Afghanistan. But I was well equipped for this. In fact, I was prepared. I knew the day would come when I'd be taken, if they dared. This blast was unexpected. There just shouldn't be such noise. They're known to use telepathy, these cosmic cruising boys. With universal gestures, I then calmed the critters down, except for one whose screaming nearly caused my ears to drown. It seemed that he had stubbed his toe upon my four-post bed. He only had one digit, and it was glowing red. I ducked into the bathroom and retrieved my first aid kit, proceeding to relieve his pain and stop his hissy fit. That achieved, we got down to the business now at hand. If they were to abduct me, they had better have a plan. We'd need a common language to enhance communication. I grabbed my phone and dialed up the Google Smart Translation. So now we could converse without the skills of a lip reader, requesting in an awkward way to take me to your leader. I should describe these little guys who visited my home, for after all they were the proof that we were not alone. At 3 foot tall and puce in shade, they were a sight to see. One great big eye and just one toe, they screamed economy. Of course they had two scrawny legs, two scrawny arms as well. To stop them falling over they had balance, I could tell. Their little mouths had volume as I previously described. A tiny nose and little ears, they were the cutest tribe. So off we went in single file to board their space-bound craft. My disappointment was immense. The shabby thing was daft. It was a rusty relic that was bent way out of shape. Its landing gear was broken and its hatch was all agape. Explaining that their landing was a hit-and-miss affair, the time had come before we left to furnish some repairs. I rustled up my toolbox and went at it with my hammer. All the while my little friends were adding to the clamour. I got them to start polishing the grubby outer skin, and taught them my new Dyson so to vacuum up within. At last we were quite shipshape, so we crammed ourselves inside. An interstellar mission was to be an awesome ride. The pilot pressed the starter, and it gave a mighty fart. Then off into the ether like a rocket we did dart. I asked them for directions to their planetary home. It really wasn't that far off to Half-Star Aerodrome. Hey, what's this with a half-star thing? I'd never heard of that. It was their little mini star where one side was quite flat. You see, a nasty comet once had carved their sun in two. While one half hurtled into space, the rest was left askew. Their sunny hemisphere was bright and shiny on one side. The flattened bit was black as coal, thus from our Earth could hide. Astronomers back home, of course, could not detect this disk, assumed its space's deep black hole. They would not take the risk. Of course there was a planet that my friends did occupy. They wouldn't live upon their sun, as surely they would fry. Their planet was called Geo, and its orbit was obtuse. Describing half an octagon is all I could deduce. It circled on the sunny side, and when this arc was done, it then reversed trajectory to keep them in the sun. Reversal day was tricky every 6 months of the year. The change in course was violent. They would buckle up their rears. All the laws of physics were contested in this land, but man-made rules are narrow. Who are we to understand? So when we spied Uranus, we described a sharp left turn. Screened by Saturn's massive rings, began a braking burn. Emerging from the black of space, appeared my shipmate's home. Not your usual planet sphere, a geodesic dome. So that's why it's called Geo. So by now it all made sense. I giggled to myself, then hoped I didn't cause offence. We all braced for the landing, as experience had shown. They weren't that real proficient, as we tumbled like a stone. Thank goodness Geo's gravity was half the strength of Earth. We floated like a feather to our craft's receiving berth. I didn't need a spacesuit, for their oxygen was ample, but making sure, I took a sniff by way of a wee sample. The air smelt like a sewer, so my nose clamped up inside. Abduction dreams were shattered. I'd been taken for a ride. I didn't mention I'm a plumber in my mortal trade. I thought that was irrelevant. Not so, I am afraid. Instead of an immersion in a super-evolved race, I had to fix their plumbing. What an out-and-out disgrace. They gave me all the tools I'd need and showed me to the leak. I was so disappointed that I couldn't even speak. Their septic system was a mess. Their cesspool was immense. A registered complaint was looming just beyond the fence. I felt compelled, so off I went to solve their toxic dump. I thought I'd left the shit show once conceived by DJ Trump. These little folk appeared to not make use of any food, so how could this mess come about when nothing here was chewed? This might take some explaining as I set upon my task. My plumber's mate with bandaged toe would be the one to ask. Forgetting that this time of year was when the orbit switched, the sudden jerk colossal, so into the ditch we pitched. Oh, that was unbecoming. We were swimming undeterred. It took a mo to understand exactly what occurred. Luckily I found the leak while groping thereabouts, and plugged it in one motion, all amid my partner's shouts. With flailing arms and choking voice he battled in the slime, so I performed his rescue. This was now the second time. We staggered to some higher ground to catch a fetid breath. This planet seemed unwelcome. It was hastening my death. I questioned my apprentice. By the way, his name was Jeff. Geo was a haven like a stellar UNICEF. Any peaceful humans who had battled for survival were brought to Geo's happy land, embraced upon arrival. Well, that was not the case with me. They'd put me straight to work, uncovered by my resume, the master of the murk. The source of all this waste was part of humankind's allure. Their way of thanking their sweet hosts was mountains of manure. The next thing we were flooded with a swarm of Geo friends. Regretful of our filthy state, they swore to make amends. They bathed us both in fluids fresh, all scented with perfume, rosy red from scrubbing, smelling like the freshest blooms. As honoured guest, I was presented to the head ET, who showered me with garlands and a brand new smart TV. Well, life thereon was blissful for this saint of silt and sludge. It pays to be a tradie when a wink leads to a nudge. It's sad to say I had to leave this quirky planet's juice. With half a sun, my skin was fading to a tinge of puce. Besides, I miss my sun and surf with burgers, coke and chips, the forest air, the ocean breeze, and English on my lips. The same old ship was allocated to my journey home. The GPS was set to land at Brisbane Aerodrome. I got the feeling things weren't right, a touch of the embezzler. Halfway home the door fell off. It must be made by Tesla. So here I sit and stargaze, looking up towards Uranus, and just beyond is Geo's dot, all set to entertain us. A jumble of geometry where Newton's laws are bent, an astronomic mystery where kindness is well meant. And what about the spacecraft that was parked in my front yard? The story of a rugged life, all buckled, bent and scarred. It could become a letterbox, but I don't get much mail. I'll plumb it as a septic tank, the ultimate upscale. Well, there you have it. I made it back safe and sound. Well, safe. I don't know that I'm actually sound. However, I bet you didn't know I was a plumber as well as a poet. One day I might write a poem about plumbing. It'd be super interesting to those who are in the know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the poem, and I ask you to please subscribe and share and like and press the notification bell so that YouTube can let you know when there's more of this rubbish coming your way. Anyway, please have a wonderful day and just watch out for the stars. They could be out to get you. And I wish you bye-bye for now.